There's some employees at Disney, about 2,300 of them, and they're whiny babies. They're whiny little babies.
That's very small.
Yes, it's a very small amount.
Are those just the employees that worked in the office before pandemic days?
These are this is a specific 2,300 of them that don't want to have to come back into the office.
They're just the whiny babies.
Yes.
So there are a lot more that have complied with the order.
Yes. So
okay.
So 2,300 Disney employees sign a petition against CEO Bob Iger, ordering them back to work, and it's the reason why that it's really annoying. They blame COVID. They're like, wait, I want to come back for COVID. It says
that's the only trauma you can use to not go to work.
Yes. So it says one unnamed employee likewise told the Washington Post too many employees adjusted really well to the flexibility at Disney that was rolled out during the pandemic. Well, guess what? It's not forever, my friend.
You know what? I'm afraid of COVID now, and I'm going to only appear on this podcast via Zoom from now on.
I'm going to read you so it says, employees argued the policy change will lead to, quote, forced resignations amongst some of our most hard to replace talent in vulnerable communities while drastically reducing productivity, output, and efficiency. They also claimed, quote, this policy will slow or even reverse our post-COVID recovery and growth by creating critical resource shortages and causing irreplaceable institutional knowledge loss. Sounds like a threat to me a little bit. So the idea is I guess these employees are so invaluable that if they were to leave, that they're not replaceable.
Because they're working from home really in order to not work, which means that they are replaceable, if not completely disposable. They don't need to be replaced at all.
And this reminds me of the Google employees who didn't want to have to come back to work, or I'm sorry, the Twitter employees that didn't want to have to come back, and my God, a 40-hour work week. What are we going to do when we have to work 40 whole hours a week? These have to be office jobs. It's not the cast members at Disneyland that are going to be able to sign this, because they have to come in, right? They have to actually be there.
They also had to be there wearing masks all day in the hot sun.
Yep. And it's funny too, because I remember when COVID first happened, they were holding food drives to keep employees to leave so that they could eat, while the CEO got a bunch of bonuses, got a $20 million bonus, right?
Wow.
That's insane.
One of the things I'm thinking about is that the cost of commuting. So I could see them requiring raises to have to drive, because especially with the cost of gas right now, I understand the financial burden of having to drive to an office. I don't know if you guys have commuted much in your life. It's
I have.
The worst part of work, in my opinion. An hour there and an hour back is
you lose a lot of your day to it.
So much life to lose, and expensive, and it smells bad because you're on the road, at least in the cities. But it's weird.
That would be a valid complaint. They're just whining for the sake of whining because they've, quote, become attached to working from home.
Yeah, they just don't want to come in.
Which basically admits that they don't want to get dressed in the morning. Yeah. They don't want to brush their teeth. They just want to, get on pointless Zoom meetings all day that don't accomplish anything, and then call themselves hard to replace.
So here's what Bob Iger's argument to the contrary was, right? Bob Iger says, wait, I had it right here. Where did I go? It says, as you've heard me say many times, creativity is the heart and soul of who we are and what we do at Disney. That's to be disputed, my friend. That was my input there. I added that. He said, he says, and in a creative business like ours, nothing can replace the ability to connect, observe, and create with peers that comes along with being physically together, nor the opportunity to grow professionally by learning from leaders and mentors. Wouldn't that be accurate, right? You have to actually go into the office and actually, how hard would it be for me and you to do this job if we weren't in the same office?
Imagine if I only showed up here on Zoom.
Yeah.
It would be possible. There are people that do podcasts digitally all the time, but it wouldn't be nearly the same dynamic that we have with each other now. And it genuinely does, for a lot of jobs, make you worse at your job.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're a software programmer.
Yeah.
You can do that alone.
Yeah, but it's a solitary endeavor. Our job is
that's
literally
solitary.
requires like there
Most
are
of
days.
these people are like on Teams.
Yeah.
They are not the Microsoft platform, but I mean on Teams,
Not
people
on
that need to
Microsoft
communicate,
Teams.
and they've essentially turned into adult children.
Yes.
They're in adult daycare. They're getting paid to sit in their pajamas all day with devices that move their computer mouse around on an interval of 20 minutes.
Yeah. So they cannot wear pants
Yes.
on their Zoom meetings.
I mean, it's actually gross. It grosses me out. Do you know, like in 2021, when people were still like working from home a lot, where like they started posting these drawings of, I think it was like a New York Times cover, where like this woman had like her work blouse on, and she was on a Zoom meeting, and she had like this whole background set up, so she looked like she was in a normal like work setting, and then below is just a bunch of trash on the floor, and she's wearing her underwear and hasn't shaved her legs in like months, and like her cat's over in the corner, and there are like a bunch of like used tampons and soda cans everywhere. Like that represents the life of these 2,300 Disney employees.
Yeah. And like the idea that
they're like doing Reimagine Tomorrow meetings where they're talking about how they have a not so secret gay agenda. I'm tired of these people. They're absolutely useless to society.
What are their roles, these 2,300 people?
Mostly email jobs, or they're working in teams that
I'd love to see their day in a life
information.
videos.
Yeah, I would too.
Like, honestly.
Iger further stressed tremendous value in being together with the people you work with, and that he believed, quote, working together more in person will benefit the company's creativity, culture, and our employees' careers. Like, you miss out on the opportunity to like look, let's look at it from a selfish perspective, right? If you're an employee and you're looking to move up in the world, you lose out on the opportunity to make a good impression with your with your boss in a setting outside of strictly just talking about whatever your work is, right? Like, whether it's water cooler talk or you have something in common, they see something on your desk and you have a conversation about it. A lot of that loses itself in translation when you try to do it digitally. But like you said, these are the people that want to tell you how to reorganize and run your life. Meanwhile, they want to do the bare minimum at their jobs.
Someone commented, well, Bob, you now have the list, so push the button. Meaning, you know who the problem people are.
Maybe that's what he was doing it for. Like,
Can
maybe,
we just shave off the unnecessary chaff?
I like the idea that he's like one person went to him and was like, I don't really know if we need to come back into the office. And he's like, you know what you should do? You should see if you can get together a list of all the people that don't want to come into work, and
you
then
just put targets on your own backs.
But he doesn't say that. He goes, and then we can talk about it later. We can have a discussion about whether we need to come back in the office. But really, it's just like a list to see who they can get rid of because they're just dead weight for the company, right?
I really despised when like the pandemic was first popping up and people posted memes that were like, I've been living this life at home this whole time. What happened? There's a pandemic? I didn't know.
That was my life too.
I don't leave my house or socialize. It's like, that's not something that you should be proud of, and it's certainly not something that the rest of society should be adapting to accommodate 3 years after it already happened.
It really was my life most of the time during the week. I mean, obviously on the weekends I went out and skated with friends, but during the week my job was mostly like I interacted with a couple of people at work, but it was mostly I'd get home from work and I'd go skating. So I had it made. I got home from work and every business was empty and I could just go skate anywhere I wanted to and nobody would kick me out. And the cop comes up to you to kick you out and you just cough and they stay away from you. Like you could do that. But it's 2023, dude. The pandemic started in like December of 2019. It's time to move on and it's time to go back to work. And it's not like Disney is doing so well that we can be like, you're not suffering. You're suffering plenty.
Mm-hmm. I'm interesting to see if the weight of these 2,300 people signing a petition is going to get Bob to relent and let them work. Like, if they don't need to be in the office, why bring them into the office?
Well, then a bunch of other people will be like, well, why do I have to come in?
Right. Or if he'll fire them all and then hire 2,300 new people that have no problem coming into the office. I mean, there's not infinite amounts of people.
That's what Twitter did. Oh, there's infinite amounts of people for most of these jobs, I would bet. I would bet most of these are not specialized positions.
I'll do that. I'll get that, like, when I read comments on a YouTube video, I'll see like 800 comments and I'll start to read them and I'll be like, God, there's just comment. There's infinite. It feels like there's never. Yeah. And then I get to the end and I realize there are only so many people and you really should appreciate each one of them.
Of the comments?
Just humans, the comments in general. There are a finite amount of these things. There's a finite amount of time. There's a finite amount of all this stuff. So people are not expendable, literally.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that they can't be fired and rehired. Other people.
We still have to ask them to do more than just the bare minimum to get
People
paid
are
for their
living
cushy
in
jobs.
precarious situations and they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Like they don't realize the precarious position that society is in right now that will make their existence impossible. Like it's untenable to keep these people in daycare forever. It's not going to work.
They will have to.
We have supply chain issues.
Yeah.
You know, like the food in grocery stores comes from places, like other places. It doesn't just appear there overnight.
Is it a problem of these companies just not knowing how to downsize properly, like an office space where they have to hire the consultant to bring them in to downsize? Like they just don't know how to downsize properly?
Well, Disney has been so wealthy so they could afford it, and it's tough to give someone something and then take it away from them. Once someone receives like an opportunity to work from home and then to take it away, it's easier just to never give them the opportunity.
Yeah, in the first place.
Yeah.
I remember when all this started and there were like the people that worked for like the city that I lived in, they had like a notice on one of like the Facebook groups that they had to wear masks in Zoom meetings to get people used to the idea of seeing other people in masks. And
what is that? There was like some official phobia they came up with for maskless faces.
And I knew that that society was lost when I had to argue with somebody about it being stupid to wear masks on a Zoom meeting. Which was like the idea like you've gone to college so you can literally justify anything if you use enough words. And the idea is like, look, they're just trying to get people used to the idea of seeing other people in masks. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, it's stupid. You're stupid. I don't care how many big words you use. I don't care what degree you have. They're at home alone. You're an idiot. I'm out of here.
It even pisses me off when I see the like 6 feet apart stickers on the floors
Still there.
of fast food restaurants and stuff like that. Like,
or like
get rid of them.
Walmart has like the aisle.
The infrastructure, get rid of it.
Walmart has like the aisle markers that say you can only go in this way up the aisle or out this way down the aisle. Like adult daycare.
This second story was funny as well. There are officials from the French government that take issue with the way their soldiers were depicted in Wakanda Forever.
Very upset with this, the French government was, because look.
Yoda.
Yeah. they were not happy about this. So
they made it the French.
Yeah,
not the British or the Americans.
No,
they pinned it on the French.
Yeah. So
it's this is from Jean Besson. He said, propaganda. In the latest American Marvel production, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the evil French mercenaries operating in Mali are dressed as Operation Barkhane soldiers. So,
and they're there to steal the vibranium from the place that the Wakandans are keeping, because they have a stronghold in Mali, and they get caught and then brought before the United Nations, and they were not afraid. Imagine that, somebody from a major government upset about getting caught going to another country to pillage their resources. That is, I can't imagine a government ever doing something like that.
I don't know how to pronounce this name, but I think it's Sébastien Lecornu.
Yeah.
He's an official of the French government, and he said, I strongly condemn this misleading representation of our armed forces, I think, and pay tribute to the 58 French soldiers who died defending Mali and its request against Islamist terrorist groups.
It's just, we live in a world that's so beyond parody now that this is put in the same category as soldiers who actually gave their lives defending other people, but somehow this matters when this doesn't matter. I also miss the days when you could show Islamic terrorists in movies. Can't do that anymore.
I thought that Wakanda came off as like a very tyrannical and unstable technological superpower.
Yes.
In the movie, and not as a put upon victim.
Well,
their framing is like that they're this isolationist nation, right? With this irreplaceable, hyper powerful technology.
Yeah, they're ethno-nationalists.
Yet they're for some reason benevolent enough to restrain themselves and not destroy other countries.
Yeah, but not help either.
But not help people with it either. And when you see Angela Bassett in the UN, she comes off as unwilling to negotiate at all, and like there's always the implicit threat that they're going to kill people.
The funny thing is, I never thought of that as like them trying to portray them as anything more than just like, look how much better these people are than everyone else. Like
no country with this technology wouldn't have killed with it.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's just that's what annoys me about it is like they have vibranium, it's so powerful, but they're, you know, enlightened beings that are almost demigods walking the earth that they haven't killed anyone with it because they're black. Yes. Like, but also that's what it is, right? But
also like for a story like this, it's just weird that we're in a state in the world now where somebody who works for the government of a country has to talk about this as if it's actually like some type of propaganda against the French. It's just a dumb filmmaker who doesn't understand what he's doing. I believe that they're doing it on purpose, but I don't know if him addressing it is actually going to help anything. If anything, it just points up something ridiculous that, like you would say, they're just preaching to the choir. The only people that are going to know this is happening are people that are already aware of it. Like the people watching it don't understand that. The people that are watching it that are the Marvel stans don't understand that.
And I don't think they care either.
No, they don't. But I do miss the days when we could have Islamic terrorists in movies. Those were the good old days. Can't do that anymore. Not allowed to do that.
In Star Wars, they would make the villains used to always be British, like in the 80s
because they got the cool bad guy voice.
Yeah, of course. Apparently, it's bad. Yeah, British is bad guy. That's how we used to think. And this is like they're obviously like pinning this on colonialism. I understand, but that's the British Empire, man. They're in charge of this crap. It's the Empire of Britain.
The French colonized.
Yeah, the French, the British, and the Americans
and
were like
Spanish.
and the particularly the Spanish, the Portuguese, all those colonizers. So to pin it on the French, it probably should have been like a multinational force of mercenaries. Realistically, looking back, like an American, British, French coalition or something.
And that would have still been annoying, but at least it would have...
depicting France as an aggressor, as they've never won a war, is kind of ridiculous on its face. So I don't know why they made that choice. They don't know how to win wars.
They don't play golf.
Not in modern times. I mean, technically, they won World War II. They were on our side. They just didn't...
Maybe
they didn't fight for a lot of the...
Maybe it's like a commentary on not being too cocky because the French are super cocky, and you can't be cocky when you're taking on Wakanda because they're going to take you out.
Shout out to the French and the Statue of Liberty. Freed slave, by the way.
It is what it is. I just thought it was funny because like when I look at this, I just wonder what world we're in now, where a leader of another country or a parliament member, or a member of another government has the time of day to like weigh in on something like this.
Media, it's becoming so powerful, like especially with deep fakes and stuff. Like if you see a movie where there's the American president issues nuclear war. I bet around the world people are going to be afraid that the American president will issue nuclear war.
I would love to hear like either Donald Trump or Joe Biden talk about how like the speech from Independence Day is the greatest presidential speech of all time, and how he wishes that he could make a speech that good because of how important it was for society. Like that would be great.
That's Bill Paxton.
Yes.
Is Billy still around? Yeah, well, they should have Bill into the White House.
No, it's not Bill Paxton. That's Bill Pullman.
Bill Pullman.
Wow,
I got those names.
This is like the same thing. Bill Paxton. Bill Pullman is still alive. Bill Paxton died in 2017.
Yeah, Bill Pullman.
Yeah,
great speech.
Have you ever seen the original Independence Day, Mary? Aliens, yes. Will Smith. It's like that's when you know that was when Will Smith was actually cool. He was actually cool at that time. You had to be there.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't like register that that's Will Smith at the time that I watched it.
It's more relevant now because of all the alien talk that's going on. Like all the memes that I've seen in the last couple of weeks are all pulled from Independence Day.
My thing is, if aliens exist, why do we care?
Oh, people don't. That's what's funny right now is all this stuff's going on and most people are like, they don't seem to care.
Most people don't care.
We're living in Brave New World. Like people are just too distracted with their daily pleasures.
It's not that it's bad to not care. It's just like, why should we care that there may or may not be aliens?
Yeah.
Like we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Whatever.
Yeah, and until they actually say something,
we'll deal with our own problems.
Like let's figure out how to get rid of the Kardashians first. Like as a society, let's get them off.
We've unironically got bigger things to worry about than extraterrestrial nations.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.